Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Bally, back in studio with us today, or in his home studio with us today, is Zach Moore. Zach, how'd softball go last week?
It was good, man. It was good. My body hurts. I'm getting a little too old for that.
Yeah. I played again today. I played baseball this morning. I threw 5 innings, and we got 5.5 innings in 3 hours. That's how slow the game was that I played in this morning. Not a great result. We lost pretty bad. But yeah, my body. I'm done for the rest of the day. After I'm done playing baseball, my arm's done for the rest of the week. After that, so I feel you for sure. The Orioles, they have a draft going on as we speak. But before we get into that, I want to remind everybody that today's show is brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800-GAMBLER or helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. And if you're a betting man, I would not be betting on the Orioles to play consistent baseball at any point this year. Every single time that we start to buy in, something like what happened yesterday and today happens to this team. They won 6-7. They swept the Braves. They go to play the Mets. They have a 6-2 lead in the eighth inning, and they lose a ball game 7-6. And you're like, are you kidding me? And then they sweep a doubleheader from the Mets. They win the first game with Dean Kramer being brilliant in the first game on Friday against the Marlins. You're feeling really good about things. And then Trevor Rogers has 2 outs in the 7th inning. He's at 99 pitches. He's given up no runs. And he gives up his second hit of the game, which must be way too much for the Mike Elias, Tony Manzolino regime. Because, you got to get out of here if you're going to face Kyle Stowers, who would make the Orioles pay today. We'll get into that in a little bit. Gregory Soto replaces Trevor Rogers immediately, hits Kyle Stowers, then gives up a base hit to give up the go-ahead run. Scott Bluette comes in the 9th inning, gives up 4 runs. The Orioles lose that game 6-0. And then they lose today 11-1, where they didn't score a run until the 8th inning when Ramon Laureano hit a home run to dead center field. It was a bomb. Doesn't matter. It was the only run that the Orioles scored the last 2 games in that series against the Marlins. And the aforementioned Kyle Stowers, all he did was go 5 for 5 with 3 home runs and 6 RBI as the Orioles lose the final 2 games of the series by a combined score of 17-1. And then we get the draft, and they take another left-handed hitting college hitter. Did I cover everything, Zach? How did I do there covering all the crap that's going down with the Orioles over the last
So they took an outfielder, a catcher, and a shortstop at 19, 30, and 31.
Yeah.
So the first rounder is listed as a catcher, but he played 45 games in the outfield this year, but he's athletic to do both, just like Ethan Anderson was last year. At 30, they took the best catcher in all of college sports, the Coastal Carolina guy. Big stick, absolute defensive wizard, cannon for an arm, likely will be in the big leagues here in the next 3 years. And then the best player in the country this year, the Golden Spikes Award winner, the shortstop from Arkansas. So to me, Mike Elias is killing it right now. And you're going to go on Twitter right now, and you're going to see people absolutely ripping Mike Elias because he didn't take pitching. Listen, the pitching isn't there at 19, right? You're going to go reach for a guy who should be drafted at 30. They probably wanted Patrick Forbes at 30. Guarantee you they were going to take Patrick Forbes. He went at 29. What do? This isn't football. You don't draft for need. You take the best player available because why? Like, you're not drafting for need. Bodine from Coastal Carolina, Codine. I forget. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. Best player in the country is a catcher. Why not take him? He's there. The best player in the country, Aloy, the shortstop from Arkansas, fell to 31. Why do you not take him? Like, you're just, I mean, I understand it's not an arm, but you just retooled this franchise with up the middle players, outfield, catcher, shortstop, for the next 5 to 10 years. I don't understand the hate that I'm seeing on Twitter. It's all just revolved around pitching. It's all it is. But when you take guys that they're this caliber of hitters, you can't complain too much.
Sure, and let me be clear about this. The first pick that they took, Ike Irish, left-handed hitter. He hits the ball all over the field. Doesn't strike out a ton. Walks a good bit. He's a good player. I'm not upset about the pick. I was kind of being a little tongue-in-cheek because so many people thought that the Orioles were going to take pitching. I was listening to the Bruce Cunningham show on 105.7 yesterday, and he said, "Don't be surprised if the Orioles take a lot of pitching with those first 7 picks." And I'm sitting there, I'm like, do you know what this team, like who's running this team? Because they're not taking a pitcher in the first 3 or 4 picks, if any, in their first 7 on day one. They're not taking a pitcher. So when I saw everybody upset, how are the Orioles just going to keep ignoring pitching? You're not paying attention because they don't do that. They don't take pitchers with those high draft picks. I the last I checked, they had just picked at 19. We were at like pick number 22. I was getting my daughter ready for bed. I didn't realize that they had already picked at 30 and 31.
They're 35 right now, so we're coming back up here again.
Okay, and that'll be the number 37 pick, which the Orioles got by trading Brian Baker to the Tampa Bay Rays for that number 37 pick. It's a compensatory, the competitive balance round A pick.
You and I think, we're the happiest people in Baltimore.
Oh my gosh! Like you legitimately watch Brian Baker throw 15 pitches, get nobody out, give up 3 batted balls at 105 miles an hour or more, and give up 4 runs and a 6-2 lead. And then the guy gets traded the next day for a first round pick, and people are up in arms. And I'm sitting here like, even if he was a better reliever than that, you just got a first round pick for a reliever that has no options. Yeah, he has 3 years of team control, but he has no options left. So he doesn't give you any flexibility. And Brian Baker has proven to you who he is. There are times when he can be dominant. And then there's also a lot of times where he does exactly what he did on Monday night, or I'm sorry, on Tuesday night against the Mets. And then he went out, and in his first game with the Rays, he throws 19 pitches. It was 19 pitches before getting it out, gives up another 3 runs there, and blows a 3-1 lead for the Rays. So in back-to-back outings, but between outs, in 2 outings, he threw 34 pitches, allowed 8 straight batters to reach, and gave up 7 runs. And this is a guy that we're complaining about giving up, getting a first round pick. I mean, a competitive balance pick, competitive balance A pick is a first round pick. That's what Adam Jones
It's what Jordan Westburg was.
It is a first round pick. Somebody said, it's really like a second round pick. No, it's not. It's a first round pick because it happens before the second round. It's a first round pick. So the fact that they got anything, if I told you in February, before you saw Brian Baker throw 1 pitch in anger for the Orioles in spring training, that they were going to get a first round pick for him before the deadline this year, you would have signed up for that in blood. So let's stop complaining about.
I honestly think that half the fan base would have been happy to have a 3rd round pick for Brian Baker prior to spring training.
Yep. The guy's proven to us time and again exactly who he is.
Look, he's got good stuff. We're not bashing Brian Baker completely here. Brian Baker has good stuff. He just wasn't the consistent reliever that we thought he could be, throwing 97, 98 miles an hour. He had a nice season this year, and he's probably going to have a nice career in Tampa Bay just because it's Tampa Bay. It's just what they do.
Yeah.
They make people better.
Yeah.
You don't complain about turning Brian Baker into a first round pick.
No, absolutely.
The only thing I questioned was who's in your bullpen next year, because you're losing at least 4 guys right now. Right now, next year, you don't have really a bullpen.
Yeah,
that was my only question.
Soto is more than likely getting traded. Dominguez more than likely getting traded. Kittredge more than likely getting traded. They can actually bring you back something. I think the Orioles are in full-on sell mode at this point. And let me say, Zach, thank God you're here. Thank God you're here.
Another pitcher just went right. The guy that we wanted just went right in front of us.
Well, you said that right as I was about to call you a calming influence. Thank you for being a calming influence, because I'm very angry at this team. I just think that they play so inconsistently. They've won 6 of 7 before yesterday's debacle. They and 8 of 11. Where everybody's feeling better about things, and then they bring the hammer down on us yet again with the back-to-back losses to the Marlins, who you should be better than, but you're not because a guy named Kyle Stowers doesn't play for you anymore, plays for them. Drove in 6 runs today. He still would have lost 5-1, but Kyle Stowers made you his bitch today. And like, good for him. Good for him. And look, Trevor Rogers could win comeback player of the year. He is pitching very well for the Orioles. He's earning that ace status on his team. He looks absolutely phenomenal. So am I going back and am I taking that trade back at this point? Probably not. I think the ire amongst the fans regarding Kyle Stowers is more than anything the fact that he never got a fair shake here. He never got a fair shake. 2022, you had guys like Ryan McKenna and Brett Phillips and Chris Owings playing over him. Then in 2023, the little bit of time that he got, like he got some run at the beginning of the year. He has a terrible slump, which, by the way, didn't you say he went like a 3 for 53 slump earlier this year? Yeah. And the Marlins let him play through that, and now he's an all-star. Who has 20 home runs for them at the break. The Orioles, he went 1 for 32 or 1 for 37 to start the season for them, and he went back down to AAA. This is a guy who was a minor league player of the year for you in 2021, and he never really got a fair shake here. Gets traded, and now he's lighting things up. He was actually a second-round pick. That's actually a second-round pick. And, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. I'm not sitting here saying I'd rather have him over Trevor Rogers, because I love a dominant left-handed pitcher in the Orioles starting rotation, especially for next year. But the ire is the fact that Stowers didn't get any fair run here.
We just went left-handed hitting outfielder at 37, a high schooler.
Oh, lovely. Another
5'10", 180 pounds.
Is he fast?
It has to be.
Yeah, dude. That's the thing. It's like
this guy wasn't even slated at 37 or anywhere near the top 50. I don't think.
So that's what Brian Baker got you, essentially. I don't know, man. And I have this show, and I'm supposed to be all in on this stuff, and I just don't care.
He's a 70-run tool.
So he's stupid fast.
They said he looks exactly like Corbin Carroll. Same swing, same speed, same glove, same arm. I'll let that one shake out.
I
could have had somebody a little bit better, but
yeah. Well, and again,
so he was ranked the 24th overall prospect. So you get him at 37. The catcher, the first round pick was actually a top 10 guy. He was
number 5 on Keith Law's board.
Right, and he fell to 19. So I'm not going to complain. Right, you're getting value at where you're getting him at right now. So that's fine with me.
So let me ask you: were you shocked at all to not see what's his name, Chase Anderson, or Ethan Holiday go number 1?
No, from everything I read coming into this, Holiday wasn't expected to go number 1. A lot of people had him mocked at 4.
And then the pitcher out of LSU, they thought that he was going to go number 1. And then it was Eli Whitting? Is that his name?
Yeah, I never even heard his name.
Yeah, never heard of him. But again, I don't follow a lot of college baseball. There's not much college baseball around here worth following.
Let's be honest with this. Jackson Holiday was not the consensus number 1 overall pick, and that was Mike Elias's pick. And the 3 guys that they named that should have went instead of Holiday, none of them are really doing anything. So
none of them are even close.
Let's not say anything about the Nationals not taking Ethan. You just don't know.
No, yeah, I was just surprised they didn't take the starter out of LSU. Just because you have some great core position players with the Nationals, need some pitching. That's a guy who could potentially be at the major leagues in a year or two. Right. Yeah. And you don't take him number 1 overall. That's fine. I don't really have, and I don't have an issue with the first 3 players based on what you said. You got the best catcher in the country. You got the Golden Spikes Award winner, and you got a guy who just doesn't strike out and sprays the ball all over the field. So I'm good with it. My question is, you've taken 4 out, a shortstop, 2 catchers / 2 outfielders, right? So what are you? You've got Basayo, you've got Rutschman.
I
One
don't
of
think
these
Adley's
guys,
here much longer.
you think is he a trade chip at this deadline?
Not they may ask. I don't think they're going to get what they think they could get for him. His value is not that great, and for what they should get for a former number 1 overall prospect,
Yeah,
and draft player, but you might get a double-A arm for him, and maybe a couple other. You're not getting a major league piece back for that. Like he's like the 19th ranked catcher or something like that.
but
Basayo probably moves to first, honestly.
Yeah. I think that Basayo's too big to stick.
I don't even think he's too big. I think the bat is too good to put him behind the plate and let that drop off happen because the legs get kind of tired, kind of thing. And being a long season, it's really rare for a catcher to hit. I mean, what Cal Raleigh's doing right now is absolutely incredible. There's a reason why it doesn't happen very often.
Right.
You put Sammy at first base, DH, and just let him just pound the baseball. Don't worry about anything else.
Do you think he should be here right now?
No.
You don't think so? Despite the fact he's tearing the cover off the ball.
What position does he play?
Well, they don't have anybody to catch right now.
Right. But, I mean, do you want to start your service clock on a kid that might not be catching for you next year?
Yeah.
Just because there's an injury?
I mean, I don't think it's just because there's an injury. I think it's also because the Slimes have scored 1 run in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
They're averaging 4.2 runs a game before losing 11-1 today. I don't know, man.
They could use the bat. I'll be honest with you. They could use the bat. They really could. But doing things the way that they have done it for this organization has landed you Jordan Westburg, has landed you Dylan Beavers, and now we've got these picks that we're going to see what happens here. It's not wrong to chase it. I understand fans wanting to win now. I really, really do. But I mean, you and I are sitting here and we're talking about it right now. They're sellers. Why would you forfeit a first round pick next year potentially if he's that good, right? You only have to wait till August 14th for it all to go away, and that pick stays next year. Like, okay, he gets a little bit better for another month, and then he comes up and he gets his at bats. He stays below 130. He keeps the first round pick if he wins it. He keeps his rookie status, and then all of a sudden in 2026 he's just hitting the cover off the ball, and then nobody complains at that point. But then when really nobody complains is he does secure that first round pick, and then they do turn it into somebody good. And 3 or 4 years from now, all of a sudden they're a big league player. Like, this is the things that nobody looks back on, but how they do help your team in that time. I understand you wanting to win now, but maybe Mike's realistic and just realizing that, like, hey, they're playing competitive ball, but we're not going to win right now. There's no reason to start the clock.
Look, the team's 9 games over 500 since May 24th, despite losing 2 straight to the Marlins. But they continue to. It's a weekly thing at this point, where they have an inspiring win followed by a deflating loss. It's same old song and dance every single week. You have to be realistic about the fact that this team is likely not going anywhere this year. As much as we and listening to Bruce Cunningham's show yesterday, I will make the one point that he continued to make, as well as the Orioles have been playing for the last almost 2 months now, about 6 weeks. They haven't passed anybody. They haven't passed it. They still have the 3rd worst record in the American League. 3rd worst record in the American League, despite playing 9 games over 500. And that's how bad they started. They have not passed a single team except for the Athletics, which they passed pretty much at the end of May. So to sit there and say, oh, they could make a run at the playoffs. Yeah, we all were hopeful, especially with how well they played the last, 11 games. But they haven't passed anybody. They've got 7 teams in front of them that they've got to pass to make it to the postseason. Is that realistically going to happen? Probably not. And if you're going to get something for O'Hearn and for Mullins and for Charlie Morton, because Charlie Morton's on his way out, and whoever else you may be able to trade, you're going to do that. You're going to keep your core intact. You're going to understand that you have Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez and Trevor Rogers for next season, Lord willing. And you're going to add to that to that rotation. You're going to add to a core that has Jackson Holliday, Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Westbrook, Colton Cowser. You're going to add to that core, hopefully with a veteran right-handed bat that imposes fear in the opposition. And you're going to shake this season off and go out there and win some baseball games next year. You look at the 1966 Orioles, they won the World Series. From 1961 to 1986, the Orioles only had one losing season. Do you know what year that was? 1967, the year after their first World Series victory. This is not unprecedented. This has happened before. It's happened to this organization before. You shake this season off. Hopefully you get some guys back in August. You play better to feel good about entering next season. And then you hit next season and you go play some damn good baseball and you get back to the postseason where you rightfully belong. Get healthy and get back to winning baseball. Right now, season's likely over. 9 games under 500 at the All-Star break with the trade deadline 2 weeks away. You're done. You're done. I don't care who you get back. You're going to have to win 70% of your games the rest of the way if you want to make a run at the postseason. And you're not doing that because no team plays 700 baseball. No team does that.
Yeah.
So let's be realistic about where things are. Today's show is brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. After a week off for at least a semi-well-earned vacation, Glenn Clark Radio is back this Monday. As always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Speaking of vacation, I will be on vacation next week, and so therefore there will be no bat around next Sunday. I probably should have told the powers that be before announcing that on the show today. But I'm going on vacation. I've been meaning to tell them. So unless they want Zach to host it without me, which you might get more viewers without me, you could always do that if you wanted to.
We'll see.
So let's see. Let's talk about for a second here, Zach, what the Orioles moving forward. Okay. Some great draft picks tonight. The first 3 picks, Chad Kendrick. He said, "O's killing this draft so far. 3 legit college players." Zach, you put me in my place right at the beginning of the show, talking about the 3 players that they got. So hopefully that's a sign of some good vibes coming for this team that badly needs this All-Star break. They're 9 games under 500 after losing 2 straight. They're likely going to be sellers at the deadline. Who's staying and who's going? O'Hearn's as good as gone, right?
I think you have to. I think you do. I mean, is he a clubhouse leader? Sure. I don't want to be too negative about Ryan O'Hearn because he's a fantastic player and he's a great clubhouse guy, but what does he bring your offense?
I mean, he hit
he brings
10
an
home
average.
runs the first 2 months. And then
what?
He's hit like 2 cents. He's hit like 2 cents.
Yeah. And if you're playing first base, you need to drive the ball all around the ballpark. He's a good 2-strike hitter. He's a good 2-out hitter, 2-out runners in scoring position kind of guy. But does he strike fear in anybody at the plate?
No, I mean, Ryan O'Hearn to me, he's a lot of pull side base hits, right? He goes up the middle and to right field almost exclusively. So I don't even think that he could be a 2-hole hitter.
Right.
To me, Ryan O'Hearn is he's a number 6 hitter. Like on a really good team, he's a number 6, number 7 hitter.
Yeah.
A guy who's going to put the bat on the ball. He's not going to strike out a ton. He's going to get some clutch base hits for you. He's not driving out the ball out of the ballpark 25, 30 times. He might max out at 18, 20 home runs, maybe. And that's if he gets hot.
He's got the swing for it, but he's more of an average kind of guy.
Yeah. And so, like, I look at a guy like that. He hits 4th, 3rd or 4th for this team. Well, 4th now because Gunnar hits 3rd. He hits 4th for this team. Ryan
and he
O'Hearn,
has no RBIs.
Yeah. He's not a 4 hitter. He's a guy who should hit in the bottom half, bottom third of a good team's order. And there's talk about like you listen to all these pundits on the radio. The Orioles should trade him and get with the best package they can get for him at the deadline and then just re-sign him in the offseason. Do you agree with that sentiment that you re-sign Ryan O'Hearn in the offseason? Because now you're re-signing a soon-to-be 33-year-old. And are you blocking people? Is he okay with taking a bench role now that he's established himself as an all-star? Which, and again, I'm not trying to hate on Ryan O'Hearn. the fact that Ryan O'Hearn is an all-star at DH and he's starting, right? He's the starting DH in the all-star game. A guy that's hitting 287 with 12 home runs at the break. Why is that guy starting at DH in the all-star
Right.
game? It just shows to me that the rest of the league is down at that particular position. And I'm not hating on O'Hearn because he's having a nice season, but he shouldn't be a main cog in a good team's lineup. He should be a role player and a solid piece, not a main cog. And right now he's a main cog.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I really don't think the return for him is going to be as good as people expect either. And you're going to hear a lot of complaining about it because people value him very highly, and which is fine. He's a great player. He's a great player. He's a good dude. He's just cool. He's an all-star. It's cool, but he's not fetching a top 10 prospect from a team from their org. I don't think so. I mean, why did they give that up?
What I'll tell you, man, I didn't think Trey Mancini was going to get anything.
I didn't either. So, I mean, you never know.
And they got Cano and Povich for him. I think they got Seth Johnson too.
McDermott for him. Jorge Lopez was the Cano and Povich one.
Oh, that's right, because he went to the Twins.
Yeah, so Mancini was the 3-team trade. So Jose Siri went to
Tampa
Houston? He went to Tampa. That's right. Okay.
He went to Tampa. Seth Johnson came to the Orioles. Was Povich with the Twins? Yeah, Povich came from the Twins to the Orioles.
But he was with the Jorge trade.
Yeah, and I know that at that man, it was what 3 years ago at this point. But they got I know that they got Povich, Cano, McDermott, and Seth Johnson in those two trades. And I just couldn't remember who came from where. But
so they got McDermott and Seth Johnson and Jaden Murray for Mancini.
Yeah, and then
which I never even heard of Jaden Murray.
Neither have I. And they got Povich and Cano for Jorge Lopez. So look, Jorge Lopez was out of options. He was a one-time All-Star when they traded him, and they got two key pieces up to their pitching staff. Right, Mancini was a shell of the player that he was, and they managed to get some legitimate pieces. Now Seth Johnson is in Philadelphia right now. They got Pat Riley, I believe, in that Seth Johnson trade.
Yes,
and
that was in the Billy Cook trade. Billy Cook.
That was Billy Cook. So who'd they get for Seth Johnson? Oh, he was part of that Soto trade, wasn't he?
Yeah, with Moisey's chance.
Yeah. So look, they've turned some quality players, some fan favorites in Baltimore, into some decent pieces for this club. Although I'm pretty much out on Cano at this point, especially after how bad he looked today.
The changeup is so flat.
Yeah,
how the hell you call a 90-mile-an-hour pitch a changeup?
I mean, isn't there a guy for the Rockies who's throwing a 96-mile-an-hour changeup?
Yeah, it's just funny to hear. Call it something else. It's not a changeup. Yeah.
Cool,
it's got movement, but it's not a changeup.
My changeup's 50 miles an hour. And
right.
Come on. I was playing. My arm was killing me. I threw 140 pitches today. My arm's killing me in that last inning, and I throw a 4-seam fastball, but I literally threw it with no arm speed whatsoever. And I did this intentionally because I knew that it was going to have movement like a changeup. And the guy swung out of his shoes and swung right through. And he goes, was that a changeup? I was like, actually, it was a 4-seam fastball. I just threw it with nothing. I put nothing on it. Neither here nor there. It was just my arm still hurts. But look, one thing I will say about Mike Elias, for all the trades that he's made, he usually does a pretty good job in bringing back legitimate pieces. I mean, we were upset. The only trade that he got absolutely nothing for was Jonathan Villar. I love Jonathan Villar. He put up an all-time great season at second base for the Orioles in 2019. Juice ball or no juice ball, he had a great year for the Orioles that year. One of the best seasons we'll ever see from a second baseman for this franchise. And he got Easton Lucas, who isn't even I don't even know what organization he's in. I think he's with Toronto, actually. I think he's with Toronto. But, I mean, he traded Dylan Bundy to the Angels and got Kyle Bradish and Kyle Brenovich in that trade. The what he got for Mancini and for Lopez. Now what he got for Norby and Stowers. And Stowers, we can have sour grapes about that. But he was still able to get Trevor Rogers, who is the ace of your staff right now, one of the best stories in baseball.
Do you trade Trevor Rogers?
No. No,
You don't
you
think
have
so?
a no.
What if
I
somebody
mean,
gave you a really good package?
what kind of package are we talking about? Because they got to give me a starting pitcher that's going to slot at the top of my rotation next year.
What if they did?
Then why? Then I mean, who are you realistically going to get for him? I'm
We're
willing to
talking.
listen
We're
on
talking
just about anybody.
like a high end AA arm who's close.
You
You got a
Trevor
guy who's
Rogers-
got one more year control next year, and you could maybe acquire a guy with 6 years control who's considered to be a big league pitcher. Would you do it? And some, because obviously he's not going to be a 1-for-1.
I mean, isn't this a weird thing that this is what we're talking about? When a month and a half ago we're sitting here like, I can't believe they gave up Stowers, who's probably going to be an all-star for Trevor Rogers.
So let's talk about Stowers a little bit. And good for Stowers. And I think Mike Elias needs to look at this and realize, like you talked about at the beginning of the show, this is his fault. And it's not because the trade was wrong, right? Trevor is pitching well now. You needed a left-handed guy. You needed a controllable arm. Stowers wasn't doing much here. It was not better than Kjerstad at the time. Norby was never going to find a spot in this infield because of where you drafted some of these other guys. When you look at him now, and DeRosa made the same kind of comments of how like they opened him up a little bit, they moved his hands, they looked at this, they adjusted this, and all of a sudden he's hitting the shit out of the ball. This is Mike Elias's fault, right? This is their hitting approach's fault, and it's obviously this is Mike's high level fault. One, because of how he treated him, up and down, up and down, up and down, never getting him consistent at bats. And he's done it with almost every prospect so far, except for Holiday and Gunnar and Adley. But two,
and Westberg and Kalzer. And
no, they did it with Kalzer for a little bit.
They did.
Kalzer would have not played if Hayes didn't get hurt last year. Kalzer wouldn't have played.
For sure.
And Westberg, kind of same thing. Probably wouldn't have played. But their hitting coaches just couldn't figure it out. Tip your cap to Miami for figuring it out for Kyle Stowers. And when you listen to DeRosa talk about it, it wasn't that big of a change. Not at all. Like, I think he opened up a little bit more. He had a little bit more of a degree of an angle on his bat path now. Just incremental things, right? Nothing drastic, you know? But they didn't pick that up in almost 6 years? That's their fault. It's not, you can't blame them for trading him away. You really can't. But you can blame them for how they got to that point. That's where I get mad at the Stowers trade. Because you can do that to Heston Kjerstad right now, and someone else is going to fix Heston Kjerstad right now.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the thing where it's like, we're talking about the draft, and it's great what they've done, the first 3 or 4 picks in this draft, right? That it is phenomenal. Kudos, hats off to Mike Elias and the organization for the picks that they've made. They seem like home run picks. But I cannot get worked up about them in the positive sense because of what we've seen with just about every prospect that's come through this system. You know, you look at Adley, and Adley has gotten worse offensively every year since his rookie year. He had 36. He hit 36 doubles in 113 games his rookie year. He hasn't sniffed that since then. He hit
20 home runs too, right?
No, he didn't hit 20 home runs. I think he hit I think he hit like 11 or something, or 13.
I'm thinking of his first full year, maybe.
His first full year, he hit like 22 home runs. Last year, I think he hit 19, but he had 15 at the end of June.
Yeah.
And he's gotten Rutschman has completely regressed as a hitter. Gunnar looks good, except the power has completely been sapped. You know, Gunnar's having a nice season, but it's not a Gunnar Henderson season. He's not going to sniff 25 home runs this year unless he goes on a tear in the second half. You know, and this is a guy who we thought he was going to approach 50 last year, and then he ended up with 37 after in 28 as a rookie. You know, Holiday, his OPS heading into last weekend when they were finalizing the All-Star thing, his OPS before he had that 4-hit game was 97. His OPS plus was 97. So, like, I look at these, and Kalzer, if it's not a fastball, he's not hitting. The guy's hitting 226 this year. So I look at these guys and
And this was a guy that hit 400 in college.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Kirstead,
again, it goes back to that high level thing of Mike Elias. Like, their hitting approach and philosophy in the organization sucks.
Yeah,
I'll be dead honest with it. It sucks.
You took Adley first overall. He's regressed every year offensively. You take Heston Kjerstad second overall. He's struggling to hit 150 at AAA right now. Like, he's broken. You broke Heston Kjerstad. He's broken. Colton Cowser, you took fifth overall, and he's a 220 hitter at the big league level. And then you look at the 3 20-year-olds that started last year. Somehow they're all named Jackson Chourio, Jackson Merrill, Jackson Holliday. Is Holliday the worst
one?
Is he the worst of the three? I know Chourio's taking a step back here.
Throw James Wood in there. It's only a year difference.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
And Jackson's having a nice season. We're talking about him as an all-star because he's our player. He's having a nice season. He's not having a great season.
But you're looking at 3 other superstars and then Jackson Holliday.
Yeah.
Like, Jackson was supposed to be the superstar, and he's just not.
And so then you're going to tell me, oh, they got this guy in the draft, then they got this guy, and then they got that guy. That's awesome. If it's still this regime developing them, it means nothing to me. Yeah. It means nothing to me because I've been hearing this about the Orioles in general and their prospects since the cavalry was supposed to come, or cavalry, however you call it. I think it's cavalry. Since the cavalry was supposed to be coming in 2008, 2009 with Brian Mattis and what was his name? Adam Lowen. And I can't remember all the guys, right? But not Zach Britton, and Britton became a great reliever for you, but he's supposed to be a solid left-handed starter for you, right? And so I've been hearing about Orioles prospects and how great they're supposed to be. And when was the last Orioles prospect, aside from Gunnar Henderson and what Jordan Westburg's been doing since he came back from the second thumb thing? Name a prospect that's blown your doors off, that's blown you away in the last 20 years.
I mean, listen to this, right? We had a good draft last year, and we had some good players in Aberdeen last year that didn't make the jump. But I'm looking at just July. Well, let's look at all of it. You know what? Let's look at all of it. Aberdeen this year, right? Good players that we have here. Austin O'Verne. He's the best right now. You want to take a wild guess what his average is?
I'm going to say 238.
226.
Oh, Colton Cowser.
This is a damn good college bat. 226. Griff O'Farrell, last year's first-round pick, 215. Ethan Anderson, last year's first-round pick, 209. Carter Young, they went high on him, 194. Vance Honeycutt, 176. First-round pick. Tavian Josenberger, who's just kind of rehabbing back, 154 right now. And he's in Double-A. He'll go back up soon too. But he was the comp pick for when they didn't sign that third round guy a couple of years ago. They're broken. They're broken. I remember I talked about Ethan Anderson when he first started. It was like his first 10, 15 games. He was leading. He had 12 stolen bases. He was hitting 263. I think he had 4 or 5 home runs really early in the season, and now he's hitting 200. They're broken, and it's an organizational issue. Bowie absolutely sucks offensively. They're the worst in the league when you look down at the stats. In the Eastern League, they're the worst. And there's good players there. There are good players there. Aberdeen, same thing. Delmarva, same thing. Norfolk, you're playing half a major league roster down there. So yeah, they're looking pretty good. What's the deal? What is the deal? Yeah,
it's an organizational thing. You can tell, and then you look at the. When you look at the failings, or not failings, but the shortcomings of this entire organization, top to bottom, how does anybody keep a job? How does anybody keep a job? You go from 101 wins in 2023. You weren't supposed to be there. That was fast. Okay, that was fast. But that team was young and didn't know any better, and they felt like they couldn't be beaten. And they couldn't until they ran into an actual manager in the postseason, and they got outclassed and outmanaged, right?
Yeah.
Then last year they have one of the best pitching staffs to start the season that we've ever seen in Baltimore. One of the best pitching that in our lifetime, okay? Because we're not going to talk about the 60s and 70s Orioles, right? But like one of the best pitching staffs that we've seen in Baltimore the last 20 years. In the first 2.5 months of the season, they were the best team in baseball. Their starting rotation ERA was like 281 in mid-June for the season. And they all started dropping like flies. Then the offense stops producing. And the next thing you know, they go from a team that was looking at in mid-June, they were on like 107 win pace, and they barely scratch out 91 victories last season. And now you come to this year, and look, they're beat up, right? All their best pitchers are hurt. Some of their best players, the only two everyday players who haven't spent time on the IL are Jackson Holiday and Ryan O'Hearn. So like I understand.
Knock on wood.
Right. I understand that they're hurt, but your guys, they're supposed to be your core. They're supposed to be leading the charge. Nobody's hitting. And Tyler O'Neill's not a product of your system, but Tyler O'Neill, like the dude's just stealing money. What's he hitting? 170. He's played 45 games. He has 3 home runs. This regime went out and made him your big free agent splash in the offseason, and he's awful. He swung in back-to-back at-bats. He swung at 3-0 pitches and popped out to first in foul territory. I just don't understand. And I saw somebody post right before the show, if I'm Rubenstein, I'm letting Mike Elias handle this draft, and then I'm firing him immediately afterwards, which is in my opinion, the only saving grace. I don't know how you give this guy a thing ever.
Why would you even give him the draft?
He has shown to be a good drafter. He has shown to be decent in the draft, I think. It's the one.
Yeah, but if you're letting a guy go and he knows it, like, and obviously you need pitching, he's not going to get pitching.
But maybe he doesn't know it. That's what I'm saying. Like they've given him a vote of confidence across the board, right? And he's not getting fired after the draft. We all know that.
I don't think David is ever going to make any kind of decision like that by himself. He's not into baseball. He doesn't know it like that.
Which sucks because I feel like we were bamboozled when he took over the team.
Dog out.
Sure. I feel like we were given like this big bit of promises, like a giant bag of promises, hopes, and dreams, and then we have an owner who's like, he just sits back and he doesn't care. He's like, my job is to help sell tickets. What? Like,
yeah, they keep trying to push this whole like in-game engagement and crap. Nobody cares. No one cares if you're like a minor league stadium.
Nope.
I know what we care about: cold beer and a winning baseball.
Yep.
That's it. And a good hot dog.
Yeah. And like, you do want a kid-friendly environment at your stadium. I get that. But the entire experience, in my opinion, is catered towards children.
Yeah.
The average age of a Major League Baseball fan is like 50-something.
Right.
You're catering to the wrong people. Have your kids stuff. Like I am all for having your kid zone and having the splash zone and having the home run area where only kids can go with accompanied by an adult. Like I am all for that. But I don't need some dude in the middle of innings like trying to get me hyped up about this, that, or the other. I don't like the crab shuffle's cool. Whatever. Like
right.
But like
that's been a staple for years though.
Right. I don't need all this extra stuff. Just give me winning baseball, good beer, and good hot dogs, like you said. That's all I need, man. And
let's touch on that too, because the food in the stadium has gone way downhill this year. It sucks.
I've been to 3 games, I think, 2-3 games maybe this year,
Never
and I haven't eaten a lot of food at the ballpark this year. But I mean, I usually just go for a hot dog, chicken tenders, and fries anyway.
Yeah, but they screw that up now.
Yeah.
And didn't they get a new vendor this year?
They got a new vendor. I think they switched back to Coke too before last year. But the guy who hosted the show before you, Ryan Blake, he was very upset. But then we did. He was upset because he liked Dasani better than Aquafina. Better
Aquafina,
than
yeah.
Aqua. Yeah, and so we did a
Dasani
live
sucks.
taste. Well, we did a live taste test, and he picked Coke over Pepsi blindly, and he picked Aquafina over Dasani blindly. Which I thought was kind of funny because he was very upset because he claimed to have liked the other ones. It was a pretty funny segment on the show. But I digress. It's I was so glad to have John Angelos go. I thought that he was a joke. And he was like, his top priority is getting concerts into the stadium. And now, like, cool. I do believe that your owner should leave the baseball decisions to the baseball people, but like, have your finger on the pulse of the stadium, on the pulse of the fans, on the pulse of the organization. Don't just sit back and say, I'm going to throw hats and try and sell tickets. You need to know what's going on so you can help make this team better. I don't like the tickets will sell themselves if you put a World Series caliber roster
Thank you
on the field.
Thank you. And you don't need to worry about kid engagement. You know what kids like? Winning baseball teams. You know what else kids like? Hitting home runs. You know what else they like? When fans and crowds go wild. They get into it. They yell themselves. Do this little stupid stuff on top of the dugouts and on the field and little hoopla. They don't care. They want to find the cotton candy guy. They're not even paying attention.
All the kid engagement that you need, you already had. You've got the bird, you've got Mr. Splash, you've got cotton candy, and that kids play zone right next to Utah Street. That's all you need. I don't need some guy from Nickelodeon in the crowd every day. Like, and I know we sound like a bunch of old men, but
winning cures everything.
I'm tired of watching a mediocre to bad organization. I'm going to be 41 in September.
And I'm glad you said organization because it's not just the big league team.
And this is why so many people want Buck back, because Buck was a legitimate manager. Buck was a legitimate baseball guy, and he didn't rely on analytics. And that's why the most fun that we've had watching baseball in Baltimore was those 5 years that they from 2012 through 2016. 2023 was awesome also. But the most fun that we've had was 2012 through 2016 and then 2023. They're doing something that's tangibly wrong. Like you can actually feel that they're doing something wrong with this organization. And it sucks because we were promised this 10 to 15 year competitive window, and it's shut after 2 years. You don't even count 2022 because Mike Elias didn't believe in the team back then. Like, he clearly didn't believe in the team back then. I'm just frustrated, man. I'm frustrated, and I can't get excited about draft picks because I haven't seen anybody develop into that player that, like,
well, they're going to get hurt.
What?
They're going to get hurt.
They're going to get hurt. And, like, even as good as Gunnar is, that home run that he hit, that was like the first superstar moment that he's really had all year.
Yeah,
that home run to win the game against the Mets. They still the only team in baseball without a walk-off this year. Like, none of these prospects have turned into even a Pete Alonso, who's right. Like there's nobody. Yeah. So forgive me for not getting hyped up about a guy who's not going to crack the major league roster for 3 years.
When he does, he's going to be up and down and then sitting every 12 days like Kobe Mayo is. And
yeah, and also, what does it tell your players? Let's talk about that for a second. For Tony Manzolino to say, I want to play Mayo more, but we're still trying to win baseball games. You basically just said to the public, for the world to hear, that Kobe Mayo can't help you win baseball games. Tyler O'Neill hasn't helped you win a single baseball game this year. Not one single baseball game this year. He had an opening day home run for sixth year in a row. They won that game 12-2. It was his only hit. But you're playing him every day because he's making $17 million this year. Kobe Mayo should be playing every day. He should be playing every day. Cedric Mullins should get traded, and Dylan Beaver should be up here playing center field every day. Come August 14th, Samuel Basallo should be DHing and playing first base for the Orioles with the occasional spot start catcher every single day. Like, be realistic about who you are. Because for every 6 wins out of 7 games stretch that you have, you immediately get shut out for the 10th time this season.
Right. Isn't that funny?
You've been shut out 10 times this year.
Yeah.
Even games where they're scoring 10 runs, they're getting 7 hits. It's not, I don't want to call them not a serious franchise. They just do everything fundamentally wrong.
Right. Organizationally.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
They're doing everything that they did right, they've now done wrong for the last year and a half. And Mike Elias is, and that's the other thing. It's like you're giving him another deadline. He has not done jack shit at a deadline. Yep. Trevor Rogers panned out a year later, and it took him dislocating a kneecap and then having to come back and have 6 bad starts at AAA and then getting a spot start because they needed him and being really good for you to realize that he was any good. Like,
right.
Today's show is brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, by the way. Are you feeling sluggish, unfocused, and not like yourself? You may be a member of the Baltimore Orioles, or it could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, they specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. So call Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills at 443-264-4454 or visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com for more. I got corrected last week that cypionate, but it's phonetically spelled out for me in the read as cypionate. So that's what I'm going to call it. Cypionate. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about some of these deadline moves that we think are coming up. In my opinion, O'Hearn's gone. Mullins is gone. I have to imagine that Morton's gone. And I like Charlie Morton. He's been so good for the last 6 weeks.
Oh yeah, he's gonna bring something back.
Yeah, he's gone. Kittredge, we already mentioned 4 bullpen pieces that are likely gone. Kittredge, Soto, Dominguez. You've already traded Baker. Who's going to be left? And could this team be better? Because you can't convince me that Dylan Beavers won't hit better than Cedric's 163 since the end of April. Could they be better? Because they're going to be playing Kobe Mayo every day. Basallo will get up here in the middle of August. Bradish and Wells are going to be coming back. And Grayson potentially will be coming back. Is this team going to be a little bit better?
Certainly could. I mean, if not, I mean, you got these guys, 1, to see what they can do, and 2, to get them ready for 2026. See who you need to go get in the offseason. You know, it's a bunch of pitching. The only thing that kind of worries me is getting rid of too much pitching. Now, granted, I know a lot of these guys are on expiring contracts, but it's hard to deplete everything and then kind of like we don't have anything at all ready to go in AAA. Like Brandon Young is it, and we saw what that happens.
Yeah,
like, he can have a good outing and then he doesn't. Like that's what you're going to get, and it only gets worse from AAA. You know, maybe you had McDermott. No, he has elbow injury now, so he's pretty much out for the rest of the year. Maybe you get Zach Eflin back. He's probably getting traded. Povich could probably pitch the rest of the year. You know, he's still got some stuff that he's really got to work on.
I firmly believe he needs to go to the bullpen.
Yeah. You got Roansy Contreras. He's pitching well in Norfolk. He's pitching well. He's maybe a 4.5 to 5 ERA pitcher in the big leagues. From what I've seen out of his stuff, you're going to have to try at this point. They have absolutely nothing after that.
Yeah,
absolutely nothing. That's ready, at least. You can call up some of these young guys. But we know Mike's not going to do that at all.
So, I mean, realistically, when you trade Cedric, you're bringing up Beavers, right? Beavers has to come up and play every day in center field, in my opinion, right? Like, you've got to bring him up. You're trading O'Hearn. Does Mayo then get the bulk of the starts? Because you also have to look at what you have coming back that's under team control. Ryan Mountcastle and Adley Rutschman both start rehab assignments this coming week. Eflin starts a rehab assignment. Bradish probably has one more. I think he has one more outing down in Sarasota, and he probably starts a rehab assignment. Same thing with Tyler Wells. You've got a lot of guys that are coming back. So I don't know. I have to imagine, like Mountcastle, for example. Is he gonna, when you trade O'Hearn, are you immediately playing Mountcastle every day when he comes back?
I would.
Yeah,
I would, just to see what he does with John Mabry, and then if he doesn't figure it out, and then you trade him in the offseason or do something. I'd play him a little bit.
So then, does Mayo get the ball? Or you start to DH?
I think Mayo's getting traded.
You think so?
Yeah.
What is
he's the only guy that is capable of bringing back an arm that could be 6 months or less away, because it's not going to be Kjerstad. Kjerstad can still bring. Kjerstad is still good, and advanced scouts are never going to look at his numbers and be like, "Nah, let's stay away from this guy." Kjerstad, by advanced scouts metrics, know that he's a good hitter and know that he can still perform in this league and will probably give up something decent. Not as high as it would have could have been, but something decent you can still get out of Kjerstad.
So do you think it is realistic that Mayo and Kjerstad are gone in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
What is the most realistic move that the Orioles could make that you think would be the best move possible?
Problem is who does Coby Mayo help right now? There's a lot of teams in it, but he's not coming up and hitting every day for a playoff team. So that's the wrinkle in it. But if somebody thought that he could help them down the stretch and or next year, say Seattle, who needs some hitting. I was about
to say Seattle, especially after they got Chase Anderson. Is that
right? And you got St. Louis. They don't need him, so to say, right now. But Arenado is
Cade Anderson.
He already signed his contract, by the way.
Did he really?
Yeah, $8.8 million. It literally took an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they Seattle's the first team that comes to mind, and they probably aren't thinking this is a guy they'll give him opportunities this year, but this isn't a guy who's going to help them this year. They're signing him to be a guy who's going to hit 30 to 40 home runs for them in the future.
Right.
And so you may be able to get a starting pitcher with team control from them. I don't know who. Maybe it's Paul Gilbert. Maybe it's George Kirby.
Maybe Sacramento. Maybe Sacramento. Right. They're moving into a new stadium. They want as many big names as they can put on that field and some home runs and whatnot. Could be a sleeper team.
Yeah. So I maybe you get something for Mayo. Maybe you get something for Kjerstad. Do you think that there's a trade coming that's just going to knock our socks off here in Baltimore?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we'll be excited maybe with some of the returns for like Morton. Soto will probably surprise some people. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, I don't think they're going to do any kind of I don't think they trade Adley just yet. I think they'll listen, but it's going to have to blow Mike Elias away. And I like I said before, I think Mike values him more than his worth. So I don't see that one happening. But I think they'll listen. But I don't see any Felix being going anywhere. Which I think the more I've thought about it, I love Felix. I would get over it if he got traded. Be a little upset at first, but I think I'd get over it. Because this organization,
he's held opposing hitters to an 0.53 batting average over his last 14 outings.
Yeah.
Like,
great. Look, he's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. This organization has found a way to churn out high-quality closers pretty easily. And I say that, I shouldn't say that, but I'm saying that. We've churned out a lot of really good closers. They just took Tommy Hunter out of absolutely nowhere. Jorge Lopez out of absolutely nowhere. BJ Ryan was absolutely out of nowhere. Felix was out of baseball. So I mean, again, out of absolutely nowhere. Like they've churned some decent guys out over the years where I would expect them to come up with somebody else.
The only guy that was as good as Felix was Zach Britton.
Right, and they turned him into a closer.
Yeah. I just I don't know, but that's this organization, but not this regime. With this regime,
Yeah.
it's really only been Felix.
Yeah.
And you look at and Cano came up and he looked like the best reliever in baseball to the point where he was an all-star in 2023, and he's been middling at best ever since. Right? I don't guys like Joey Crable, Cionel Perez, you squeeze every last bit of what they could do for you out of them. So I get your point to that extent. I just think your heart, like a really, really good closer, is a commodity in this league, and
You think Grayson
can't.
Rodriguez is a good closer?
I think that's such a waste. I think that's such a waste. Like a guy that has his stuff.
Him sitting on the IL is a waste too.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I was upset at them turning Hunter Harvey into a reliever, and then I realized that's what he wanted to be his entire life anyway. Was a reliever, just like his dad. So, like, I don't, and I was upset with the whole DL Hall thing too because I like the Orioles.
He could have been a closer.
Yeah, and they just never. They have yet to just develop a young starting pitcher and have them be. They've turned plenty of starting pitchers into dominant relievers, but they've never turned a starting pitching prospect into something worthwhile.
Do you know why?
Because they suck?
Because they can't keep any of them healthy.
Yeah. Well, now nobody can.
Look at them all back. Bundy was hurt for a while. Couldn't keep Gausman 100% healthy. Grayson is hurt all the time. DL Hurt was hurt all the time. Hunter Harvey all the freaking time.
Yeah, that's true.
Brandon Young's been the most healthiest pitcher we've had and God knows how long.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, he threw an immaculate, and that's Orioles baseball, like to the nth degree, to throw an immaculate inning last week and then this week give up 7 runs.
Oh, it's baseball in general.
It's
like throwing a no-hitter and then coming out giving up 7 the next day.
Yeah, it's
lose you, I think.
I don't know if you can hear my cat. He's being pretty loud right now. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just so burned by this organization, and I can't quit them, man. It's a complete addiction. Like sometimes I just want to be like, I'm just not going to watch them. I'm just not going to watch them. And I sit down. I find myself every day at 6:35 sitting down in front of my TV to watch Orioles baseball, hoping I see something that leads me to believe that this team is back. And those 2 games to end the weekend, to end the first half, like the first 2/3 of the season, it just leaves such a sour taste in my mouth. Do you have any confidence they're going to come back and play a better brand of baseball after getting some time off?
I didn't want to say yes or no there.
At first, I was like, "Did he hear me?" Let's get to some viewer interaction here. Slyster 59, O's timid approach towards winning is weak and not productive. Their performance is contagious. They don't trust each other. They're not trying to win. No pulse. I don't think they don't trust each other, and I don't think they're not trying to win. But I think when they get down big, like you look at the 2 teams that played today. The Orioles, their first 6 outs, 3 of them they made on the base paths. They ran the 3 outs in the first 2 innings. Meanwhile, Kyle Stowers is hitting 3 home runs off of your rookie starter. It's just they're not great fundamentally. They make a lot of stupid mistakes. And like, what's one thing that this team does well consistently?
Get hurt.
Yeah, they are great.
They're very good at getting hurt.
Yeah.
Godly.
They are. It's just. I think they trust each other. I think they're trying to win. But a game like today, yeah. After about the 4th inning, they had no pulse. When it was 4-0, I turned the game off because you could tell by their approach that they weren't winning that game. Like you could absolutely tell.
And it sucks.
I just Mike Wareko. Speaking of Ryan McKenna, whatever happened to him, he wasn't a bad player, but he's not a good player. He's not in my opinion, Ryan McKenna is not a major league player. I didn't think they always talked about how he was so great defensively. He would make a play every now and again, but he catches the ball next to his ear. He catches the baseball next to his ear, doesn't catch it up above his head. I just think that I've seen him drop too many baseballs that should have been caught and take too many weird routes. I think that Ryan McKenna, he's a fifth outfielder, and that's why like the fact that he's not on any team tells you all you need to know about Ryan McKenna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I've always liked the guy, but at 28, like he's still a free agent. Like he's not even playing in the minors, so that's kind of odd.
Trey Mancini, 11, 12 days ago, opted out of his minor league contract with the Diamondbacks. He was having a monster year. He had 9 home runs in June. He had like 360 with like 9 home runs in June. And I think it was 28, 29 RBI. Are you surprised that nobody's picked him up? Not one team has picked him up.
No, because he's in Vegas and the ball flies out. And teams know that. There's no difference between Vegas and Norfolk. As weird as that sounds, but the ball absolutely carries out in Norfolk. That's why you see some of these guys have just monster seasons for us and they come up and suck. Because they're just used to that ball just carrying out. And over here they're just fly balls. It's just they're on that river down there. And there's no different than our pitching staff. Like you see some of the crazy numbers because as soon as you get it up there, it's gone.
Right.
The International League itself it's always got skewed numbers, but I mean, Vegas is even worse. You get the ball in the air, it's gone.
I just can't believe there's not a team out there that's taking a flyer on him in 2 weeks.
Who needs him? I mean, let's be really honest with ourselves. I would say Ryan O'Hearn is better, but who needs either one of them?
Yeah.
Do either one of those players make any major league roster better right now that's in playoff contention?
No, but that's the thing. He couldn't go play for the Rockies or the White Sox.
Don't the Rockies have a young guy, I think?
Probably. They have a bunch of young guys.
Right. And they're going to play those guys. That's the problem.
Yeah. And that's true. He's 33 years old. He's got to find a team that's willing to take a flyer on a 33-year-old outfielder who hasn't had a great year since 2019. Yeah. So, do you believe this? Manzolino was told not to play Mayo. He pinch hit twice with Arias instead against lefties after those dumb mices. I'm through. I don't know what that means. But do you believe that? I guess that's probably true that he was told not to play.
Yeah, if he's not playing, he's been told not to play him. I mean, you don't go this long without playing Kobe Mayo for any other reason other than you're told to.
I mean, he hit 3.
Hey, we took a left-handed pitcher. Woo! Michigan State guy.
What pick was that?
58.
They already 58.
No, sorry about that. Left-handed pitcher, 6'8". Jacob Mizrachi style.
What do you think about Jacob Mizrachi being an all-star?
Horrible for baseball. Horrible
5 starts, 25 and a third innings pitched. He's an all-star.
Could he be one of the best players and in the game? Yes. But horrible for baseball.
Trevor Rogers has made 6 starts. He's thrown, 35 innings? Something like that?
Yeah.
And his ERA is like 123. Why is he not an all-star then?
AL's better.
Well, that, and I think that it's more fanfare for Mizrachi. I think it's more fanfare.
And look, he's good. He's a good player. He's probably ability-wise, does he deserve to be there? Yes. But when you come up and you're just immediately kind of thrown into it, like at least Skeens last year was like up for a good bit, made a couple starts. We had like 10
starts.
Yeah,
like 11 to 13 starts. Yeah.
Right. That's different. 5,
25 innings pitched. Like,
I did just read today that the Brewers are trying to extend him for like north of $200 million. Must be nice.
And didn't he already have arm surgery?
I think he's been healthy. He was a junior college guy.
Okay. Is Elias gone at the end of the year?
I don't know. I'm leaning towards yes. And not because of the draft and not because of the pitchers and stuff. I think because of the stuff that we tapped on earlier, where it's at the top, how it's so bad across the board organizationally. And I don't think he makes the necessary moves, and I think it's his ass that gets chopped because of it.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if your plan is to fire him at the end of the year. I don't see how you give him the deadline.
Yeah.
I just, unless it's like what you said, like the moves at the deadline are terrible, and it's like, what the hell was that? You're out of here, you know. John Keller, Alloy is a beast. Kid can play. I do love that pick. Is he the shortstop or the catcher?
The shortstop from Arkansas. Yeah, he won the Golden Spikes Award, so best college player.
How did he drop to 30th or 31st?
He was projected to us at 19.
Really? How did he drop? Like what are teams seeing from him that he dropped?
Well, I think early on there was a lot of guys that were not projected to go in the top 10. Like the Angels took another guy that was on no one's board at like 2. Just Angels doing angel things. But they get to the big leagues.
He'll be in the big leagues in August.
Yeah, so but yeah, they're just projections. You know, this is where Keith Law would take it, but Keith Law is not out there scouting, you know, with advanced scouts and stuff to see what that team thinks that this guy could do. They're just projections. So
yeah. Zach Moore, the man that said Kyle Stowers could never make a dent in the Orioles lineup.
It's true. It was true. If Kyle Stowers was still here, he would not be doing this. It's not like Kyle Stowers figured it out himself. Kyle Stowers figured it out with a coach that changed a little bit and got him going. Kyle might not even be hitting 180 with this coaching staff. And I'll say that all day long until I'm blue in the face. If Jackson Holiday can't perform right now, what makes me think Kyle Stowers would?
Yeah. No, and Jackson Holiday, the biggest change he made came from his dad.
Right.
According to Keith Law, the Orioles are winning this draft. Do you agree?
Drafts is a crapshoot. We can be happy or bad about whatever they do, but the draft is an absolute crapshoot.
Mm-hmm.
But you took guys that proved it at a high level, at the collegiate level, and they did it very well, and you took them. Outside of that, you can't complain too much. Did you want a pitcher? Sure. Did you want to take a pitcher at 19 when there was probably none available till like 30? That would have been kind of dumb. So you take the best player available in baseball.
Yeah.
Figure out the rest later.
Yeah. I agree.
I think it's fine.
Josh Hall, no pitches with the first 4 picks.
I think the 2 that they wanted, Quick and Forbes, were literally taken right before them, and they took the next player available.
And that happens to them every year. I think if Baz was there for them at 36 or 37 back in 2020, they take him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't, and so they didn't. You know. But I mean, if you're paying attention to what this team has done historically from 2019 through now, you should know better than to think a pitcher was coming in those first 4 picks. Right. They're going to take all college bats. The fact that they took a high school player with the 37th pick is kind of a surprise to me. There was going to be all college bats.
Brock just said the lefty made 15 starts this year, went 8-3 with a 2.36 ERA with a .98 WHIP, 22 walks and 104 strikeouts in 91 innings.
At
only allowed 4
State
home runs.
University.
No, at Michigan State.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's good. Is Michigan State really a great baseball program?
It's still Big Ten baseball.
Yeah.
I don't know how well they did this year. If they made like a regional or anything like that. Let's see what they did this year. Let's see stats maybe. I don't even know how to find this. I never look up college baseball all that much, like standings or anything.
Neither do I.
I guess it would have helped if I went to the Big Ten conference. Right. They were 13-17 in conference play, so they weren't great.
Yeah.
Overall, they were 28-27, so I don't think they made the dance.
Like if Maryland's being like, I try to find follow Maryland baseball, but you have to watch it on like a Maryland app that you have to pay for, which is fine. Like, I don't mind paying for it, but I'm not into it enough that I'm going to do that. You know, and so like, I wish I could sit. People are like, "Oh, did you see the College World Series?" No, man. Like,
Right.
I don't. I have 3 jobs and a family. I didn't see the college. Like the fact that my wife lets me watch every Orioles game, every inning of every Orioles game,
Right.
is a miracle. I don't have time to sit there and watch the College World Series, and like I don't know, man. Like I love baseball, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So they didn't even make the regionals or anything. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
Let's see here. I'm trying to find some other. Thank you for saying how O'Neill has done nothing but stealing money. I don't think I need a thank you for that. I mean, I think everybody agrees with that. That's all. That's all that he's done, and it's all he's. I mean, do I think that he could come out next year rejuvenated and hit 250 with 30 home runs again? He could. He's got that ability. That didn't just leave him. He's been injury prone his entire career. They gave him a lot of money for no good reason. And here's the thing, Zach. I think you and I were both on board with signing O'Neill at the time.
Yep.
But I also don't think that either one of us thought he was going to be their biggest splash.
Yeah.
And then they signed him, and then he got hurt 3 times. Like he got hurt on his injury rehab assignment.
Right.
So like it's what he does. Should any of us be surprised? No, but we can still be pissed off about it. And he wouldn't get $8 million on the open market in the offseason. So he's picking up that option. He's picking up that he's exercising that player option. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd start cleaning house before the deadline. Like now, Zach, what do you consider a fire sale or cleaning house for this team? And I know, and the easiest answer is anybody on an expiring contract you trade.
That's not a cleaning house though.
No, that's like obvious stuff. Right.
The problem is you can't clean house because anybody that you should trade is hurt. Right. But you're not trading Holiday. You're not trading Gunnar. You're not trading Westberg. You're not trading Cowser.
Right.
Could trade Cowser. That thought's crossed my mind.
I said it last year, and I think I said it on the show. I refused to put it on social media because I feel like I got blasted enough for saying that the pasture wasn't a good idea when the guy was hitting 180 over an 8-week span. And I got absolutely blasted for like a week, and that sucked. So I wasn't going to put it out there, but on the show, I said the Orioles will never get more for Colton Cowser than they will if they trade him this past offseason.
Yeah.
When he finished second in Rookie of the Year, and really he should have won. And he's got all this team control. He's going to hit 25. If he's healthy for 162 games, he's going to hit 25 home runs. But he's a 240 hitter at the big league level at his best. And he only hit 240 last year because he hit 420 the first 3 weeks of the year. He got hot in August for a little bit.
Yeah.
He really rode 5 weeks of good baseball for an entire season last year. Like they were never going to get more value for Colton Cowser than they would have if they traded him last offseason. But people don't want to hear that because they love him because he's got a cool name.
Yep. I mean, look, I love Colton. I think somebody else could fix him. I wish the Orioles would hire that somebody else right about now. But he also brings you back probably a pretty good arm.
Yeah.
Like Seattle.
And that's the thing that I was kind of alluding to is not necessarily Cowser, but maybe somebody like Cowser, like a player that nobody thinks the Orioles would be willing to trade. And then suddenly they trade him. Like Adley Rutschman, with Basayo drafting these 2 catchers, and Ryan Radford says this after drafting these 2 catchers, who I know need at least a couple of seasons in the minors. Who do you guys think will be more likely involved in the trade? Adley for prospects or Basayo for his? They're not trading Basayo.
Could you imagine if they did?
This fan base would lose it. This fan base would lose.
I would buy stock in Twitter right before they did it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I don't think they're trading Adley, but they just took two first-round catchers. And
Ethan last year was a catcher. Ethan Anderson was what, a second-round pick?
Mm-hmm.
I think under Mike Elias, they've taken several in the top 5 rounds.
Yeah, they've taken a lot of catchers.
I said that the other day. I started looking at it and I was completely wrong, but I'm gonna look it up again. Let me see. I'm gonna start at 2021 because I remember the first 2 years was not many catchers. Hanley went in the 5th or 6th round, 7th round with Adley.
Something like that.
All right, so they took Pavlonian 21, who just retired the other day.
Really?
That was in the 7th round. Yeah, he was in AAA. Creed Willems was in the 8th round. That was a catcher. So that's all they took in 21. 22, they took Silas in the 4th round. So there's one in the top 5 rounds. Rhett's back. They took in the 14th round. He's been having a good season so far. He's in Bowie. 23. They took guy in the 16th round, so that cancels that out. So maybe I'm wrong. So last year Ethan was a 2nd rounder, Stafford was a 5th rounder, Tuitt was an 8th rounder, and then Tess was a 12th rounder. So last year they took 4, and this year they've already taken 2.
It's a lot of catchers.
Yeah.
It's a lot of catchers. And you're taking 2 catchers. And I know that Ike Irish only caught 12 games this year, but it's because he got hit by a pitch and fractured his scapula. So he was out for a while. When he came back, they put him in the outfield. But he had caught. They said his defense needs a little work. He did catch 6 of 8 potential base stealers, which is something the Orioles have really struggle with. I don't know. By the time they're ready, I don't think Adley's going to be here anyway.
No.
You hear people talking about extending Adley. Why? He hasn't been any good for 2 years, right? Or a year and a half anyway. I don't know. I don't know. So let's see here. The giveaways are the only thing that brings fans off their fannies to the games. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now, is that catering to the fans, like catering to children? I don't know, but legitimately, if there's a floppy hat or
6'6" right-handed pitcher JT Quinn from the University of Georgia, the 69 pick to the Orioles. So 2 pitchers in a row.
Yeah. Well, and again, who have they developed as a pitcher?
That they kept healthy?
What's that?
I said that they kept healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's guys in AA right now that look good, that look really, really good, and some guys in single A. Blake Money pitching really well in AA. Got to keep him healthy, man. Got to keep him healthy. And there's 3 of them that this year that we've heard. Zach Fruit's just now coming back, but he had a lat injury for a good bit. That was the dude in the early in spring training we played the Yankees throwing 100. Got to keep these guys healthy. The arms are there. Just got to keep them healthy. And I don't know what the hell they do in the organization, but the walks are atrocious across the board. The whip is up on everything. Fix that. Again, that's high-level Mike Elias stuff. That's what ultimately I think gets him fired, because the organization philosophy is so bad, and he's hired everything through that philosophy that if he changes it, he's not going to be able to hire enough guys to adapt a new philosophy, and it's going to get him fired. It's not going to be because of anything else.
Yeah. Did they break their streak of consecutive games with a walk today?
Don't know.
I'm going to take a look. Yep. Today broke their streak. It was at 170 some odd games, and not one. They had no walks, 5 hits, and 12 strikeouts today.
That sounds like a really good day.
Yeah. Ramon Arias, 0 for 3 with 3 Ks. He's now hitting 241 with a 653 OPS.
He does that, and then he'll carry the team all of August.
Yeah. Man, did you hear Kevin Brown going nuts about Banuelos getting hit by a pitch today? Mm-mm. He got hit by a pitch and he went nuts like he now has a major league on base percentage. I think that's awesome. To his 2nd career plate appearance, and that's how bad it was today. That our broadcaster was talking about a guy in his 2nd career plate appearance getting on base by getting hit by a pitch like it was the greatest thing that's happened all year.
I decided to cut my crepe myrtle tree down today instead of watch the game.
Your what tree down?
Crepe myrtle. You ever seen them damn things? They're a pain in the ass. Don't ever get one.
We don't have a yard that's good for that.
They grow like a frickin' weed. Then they're huge. Well, they can get huge, but not really huge.
What do they look like?
Just a tree. I don't know. They got green leaves.
It's a tree with green leaves. Oh. Like
I've been here 4 years though, and this thing went from like real tiny and skinny to like covering the front half of my house today. And I just went out there with a Sawzall and just cut that thing all the way down because my neighbor's like, yeah, in 2 weeks it'll grow right back. And I was like, great.
Oh man. Well, I hope he got rid of it. Today's show brought to you by County Sports Zone. All summer long, County Sports Zone is keeping you updated on high school sports news. CountySports.zone is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and by a Toyota.com. Also, today's show brought to you by the latest edition of Press Box, which is available now. On the cover, we profile Baltimore's first ever basketball Hall of Famer, speaking to the people who knew Carmelo Anthony best about his Baltimore upbringing, about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. I mess that part up every time. I always miss the word how. Also, inside Bo Smolka profiles Ravens second round pick Mike Green, and our annual summer travel section shows you the sports events and activities your family should check out all summer long. You can find the new issue all throughout the region, including at 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Do you watch the All-Star games? Do you watch the Home Run Derby?
I did last year a little bit. I went up to Jimmy's Seafood. I don't know if I'll watch it this year. I usually don't. The All-Star game, I definitely never, ever watched it. I think it's the dumbest thing ever.
Really?
Yeah. It's mid-season. Like, nobody cares. Nobody tries. It's gotten better over the years, but, like, I watch the highlights the next day at work, but I don't stay up for that. The Home Run Derby is kind of cool, but...
It's funny because I don't stay up for the Home Run Derby. Like, I'll if there's somebody that I want to see win in it, I'll watch it till they're eliminated.
Yeah.
Like, Gunnar was in it last year. He didn't even make it out of the first round, though.
No.
You know?
And I went up to Jimmy's just to watch that. Like, it was packed there just for Gunnar and stunk it up.
Yeah. Yeah. What, he hit like 6 home runs? It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing, though. You look at all the professional sports all-star games, the NFL and the NBA, it's a complete joke. Like, it's an absolute joke now. Hockey, I don't watch hockey in general, but I heard that they do a pretty cool thing, like a 3-on-3 tournament or something like that, which I heard is cool. I think baseball is the only one that keeps the integrity of the game intact when they play it.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll usually tune in or have it on in the background. I don't ever watch the entire game, but I'll watch a good bit of it, generally speaking. Today, so also brought to you by Football versus Football, calling all athletes and families don't miss Football versus Football, a free sports and wellness festival Saturday, July 19th from 10 to 6 at Baltimore Peninsula. Meet retired Ravens, other former NFL stars, and pro soccer players. Join youth sports clinics, get free health screenings, and enjoy food, music, and family fun. Powered by United Healthcare, presented by Sports Legacy Group, and supported by University of Maryland Orthopedics and 1-800-GAMBLER. Anything else you want to get into today? Any of the draft picks that you want to talk about? Anything about the Orioles you want to talk about?
Is Creed Williams on the box? Creed Williams on the trade block? Good catchers are a hot commodity right now. He's what, 22, 23?
Is he that good? Like
good.
He can hit, right? But is he a good defender? Can he throw? Like, is he like
above average?
Maybe, especially.
I think he's a major league catcher, whether that's a starter or a backup. But I think he's a major league catcher.
See, I don't know. Maybe I just don't. I guess a lot of catchers don't look all that athletic, and to me, he just looks so unathletic. I've never thought that he was going to be anything. And I remember when they drafted him, they were showing a video of him hitting, and like they showed like 10 swings, and like 3 or 4 of them he hit like these weak little dribblers in his batting practice, and I was like, "There's nothing that stands out to me about this guy as special." But scouts loved him, and like I think there's a lot of guys that are on the trade block. I think you have to, if you want to replenish your farm system, and if you want to get some potential big league contributors to your team, there's not many guys that are off the table. I think your core at the big league level is off the table. Pasayo's off the table, but anybody and probably like Beavers off the table. Anybody else, I think that they have to listen on. I think they absolutely have to listen on. The question the O's need to have is: do we change players or coaches? If it's a philosophy issue, then coaching needs to change top to bottom. Well, they're not getting rid of the players, so they have to change coaches, right?
Yeah, they got to change something. because the injuries, the whip on the pitching side, they just walk the house. The averages aren't there. The runners in scoring position is just not there. Stefan and I talk at work all day long, and I've sent him some stats. He's a Cardinals fan, but he lives here, so he watches games and stuff, and it blows his mind away, like how bad. He's a big Chesapeake fan. He lives pretty close by. He goes and watches all the games. He tells me a lot about guys at AA, and I tell him some of the stats and like where they're ranked in the Eastern League, and he's just like, "Whoa, that's real bad." And it's not just them. Aberdeen's the same way. Delmarva's the same way. It's bad organizationally.
I think that we've been so snake bitten by this organization for the last 3-4 decades that the expectation, like you have no legitimate expectation that they're going to do anything worthwhile. I like what they've done in the draft today. I like the trade that they made for getting Brian Baker out of here for a first round pick. But I have to see what Elias does. He's never made a move that I agreed with at the deadline.
Yeah.
He's never. Eflin was a good move. But other than that, he hasn't done anything at the deadline that I've ever really agreed with. Although I did believe in trading Mancini when they traded him, because I knew the fan base wasn't going to like it, but I knew that you were never going to get more value for him than at that moment. And I didn't think that he had a spot with this organization moving forward after that season. So I agree with it, and I understood it. But I mean, like, if he goes into the off season again, is he going to act like he is the smartest guy in the room, like he always does? And that's a problem. I think he firmly believes that he knows better than everybody else. And a guy that has that mentality, it's really, really hard to get them to change their spots.
Yep. And like I said, I think that's what ultimately leads into him getting fired.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Bat Around today. Thank you to all of our sponsors that we don't have a show. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners, viewers, fans that we 100% do not have a show. Zach, great to have you back after a week hiatus. Thank you so much. Again, we will not be broadcasting next Sunday because I will be on vacation. If I do a show on vacation, my wife may actually leave me at the beach. So until 2 weeks from now, enjoy your All-Star break. Hopefully, when we come back, we're talking about some good Orioles baseball or at least some worthwhile trades. Until then, see you.